Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Putt.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Glad you could be here today. It is Wednesday. It is the 6th of April. Our sun sign is the same in Aries. Our moon sign went from Pisces to Aries. That happened at 1:46 a.m. So we are in double Aries today. So we have two of these. Moon sign, sun sign. Setting things in order. Okay, the emperor puts in order. He who sets in order. It's the astrological sign of Mars. Mars can be something that can be very useful if we use the energies in a creative way. It can be something very warlike if we use the energies in a warlike way. It just depends how it is. The emperor is putting things in order. If things are in order, the emperor is happy, and therefore things are more creative. If the emperor is upset because things aren't organized properly, the emperor gets upset, and then things change because it can be more warlike. So that's what we're dealing with today. This idea, do we go to war? Do we be creative? What do we do? A lot of questions in the air, certainly in line with what's going on here in America, dealing with this particular issue. Now, we had a couple other aspects. One other that took place at 3 a.m. That was a conjunction between Venus and the moon. If we go and we look over here for Venus and the moon, we see them right here next to each other in a conjunction, having a conversation. The Aries moon is saying we want to charge forward our unconscious desires, or we want to move forward, we want to lead, we want to take charge. Whereas Venus says, well, you got to use your imagination. If you're going to do that, you have to be creative. You can't just go in like stubborn ram horn, running into everything. You got to be creative, strategic in what's going on. And so they're having this conversation. That's what's taking place, and the conversation between them over the day. So we get to this afternoon, 2:51 p.m. with trine. Mars comes in, and Aries and Mars are in a trine. So opportunity for that energy to be used in a positive, creative way. And shortly after that, the Sun in Aries and Pluto go into a square, in which case there's some real transformative energies being applied to what's going on here with the Aries energetic. And of course, today is the last of the days before the new moon. The new moon is tomorrow morning, right here. 4:23 a.m., 4:23 a.m. tomorrow morning. We have a new moon. Right now we're only 1.1% of the way full. On the Jewish calendar, today is the 27th of Adar. Here we're winding down in the end of a month on the Jewish calendar. That changeover will take place this weekend. The daily thought for today is life with words. Plants live in a world of earth, water, air, and sunshine. Animals live in a world of the body and its senses. Human beings live within a world of their own words. The sages call us the speaking being, saying that our soul is filled with words. When our words leave us, our very being goes out within them. We conquer with them. We declare our mastery over creation with them. Our words tell us that we exist. For us, nothing truly exists until we find a word for it. All of our thoughts of every object and every event are thoughts of words. A world is a world not of sensations and stimuli, but of words. Build your world with precious words. Fill your days with words that live and give life. Memorize words of Torah and of the sages. Have them read for any break in your day. Wherever you go, provide that place an atmosphere of those powerful words. The Dreamspell Oracle, we're at a 4-tone day. 4-tone day. Right here, the star shines bright in the wave spell of the Serpent Life Force Energy. We're one of the 10 days in a row of intensity. As we're getting ready to hit to that middle pillar. The phrase for today is, I define in order to beautify measuring art. I seal the store of elegance with the self-existing tone of form. I am guided by the power of flowering. Space weather, solar wind, 411.7 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index, 3 at the moment. Looks like it'll be within that area of the next 24 to 48 hours. So, coronal holes, not really much of anything, just these slits, but enough to send some wind coming our way. M-class solar possibilities is at 1, X-class at 1. Geomagnetic storm activity is increasing in the mid-latitudes from 25 up to 35, and the upper latitudes going from 35 to 50. So there is an increase in the energy as the breathing of the universe continues. And finally, tonight, looking up at the sky, Io crosses the face of Jupiter tonight from 9:52 p.m. to 12:07 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, followed by its more visible black shadow from 10:32 to 12:47 a.m. Meanwhile, Europa disappears behind Jupiter's preceding limb at 10:48 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So there you go. So the biggest thing to take away from today with the cosmic weather is this. He who sets in order, it's the conscious mind. We need to look at the ways in which we are using our energy today. Put it in the order it needs to be in so that we can move forward, so that we can process this information and make it usable. Okay? And that is the lesson for today. So we'll see how it plays out for each and every one of us. UFO News is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. So, first story, I've got 5 of them. First story, this comes to us from Phoenix, Arizona, and this object in question resembles a walking figure. According to this headline here, you could imagine the head, the legs. So I was riding my mountain bike on Javelina Trail in South Mountain Peak, Phoenix, Arizona, April 2nd, 2:16 p.m. At approximately 7 p.m., I noticed an object in the sky that was unusual enough to stop and take a picture and video. The object's size caught my attention first. It appeared to be a solid vertical cylinder with an angled extended tube or pipe attached to the cylinder's bottom. It was drifting east and descending slowly towards the ground. I observed the object for 1 minute, and then I continued down the trail for approximately 1 minute to find a better view. I observed the object for another minute before losing sight of it below the horizon. It was twilight and visibly was too low to observe a landing site. At the approximate distance of 2 miles, I estimated its height to be 20 to 30 feet. The flight path looked to be within 2 miles of Sky Harbor Airport in Phoenix, so I thought it was unusual for any hot air balloon or leisure craft to be close to a major airport. I can't think of an explanation for this object. It looked like a deflated hot air balloon, but it was moving too slow to be a crash landing balloon. There's no movement from the upper portion, like a deflated balloon might have. The body of the object looked solid and well formed with definite edges, and the angled appendage on the bottom was very unusual. I took a 15-second video during the first minute observation and a single picture. No media from the second viewing location. I had no emotional response to the event, but wanted to capture some evidence to show others. All right, there's our object in question again. It does look like someone is just sort of suspended there, doesn't it? Some sort of being. All right, the link's available, First Contact Radio, so you can check it out. See what you think of that matter. Here we have a daytime UFO sighting over Puebla, Mexico. Object in question right here. Here's new daytime footage of an unidentified flying object seen and filmed over Puebla or Mexico. This was alerted from Olis Actuales. All right. And we're about to see the object in question. There it is, directly in front of us, right over the mountains, this area right here. Can't see it now because it's just sort of out of the view. That's right. Okay, it's a replay here. It's going to be right in the middle. Right in this area here. There it is right there. You see it? Right there. Interesting. See, you never know what you're going to see if you're looking up at the sky. Anything is possible. This day in UFO history, 1966, the Westall incident. Unresolved mystery. Whether UFOs have been around longer or no existence at all, the truth is always out there. Most people do not consider the facts right in front of their recorded history. When Roswell came out in 1947, the perception of people towards the mysterious object is alien visitation. In fact, they considered it as one of the most significant stories. However, when the Westall incident occurred, it immediately gained attention, making it one of the most witnessed and greatest sightings ever recorded in history. The 20-minute Westall encounter took place April 6, 1966, exactly 50 years ago in Australia around 11 a.m. They were completing a sports activity when a gray saucer-shaped spaceship with a purple color was spotted. More than 200 students and teachers allegedly witnessed the mysterious flying object, about twice the size of a family car, descending in an open grass field. The paddock was adjacent to the pine trees, are known as a nature reserve today. The Grange back then. According to the reports, the object descended in a northwestern direction over the suburbs of Clayton, South Australia, where the saucer-shaped craft had landed in a circle. No one knows if it had completely landed. What is certain is it disappeared 20 minutes later. The police have spoken to some adult witnesses, and an unscheduled assembly by the headmaster of the school was declared to that effect. The school remains. The students that are alleged was not an extraterrestrial vegetable, but a man-made weather balloon. They also told students not to share the story with anyone. A science teacher, Andrew Greenwood, was visited by the officers who threatened him not to say anything. Otherwise, he is discredited. Despite popularity, the press was mindful, but since the Dan Ding Dong Journal interviewed many people, it ended up as a front-page story. Although witnesses reported the mysterious aircraft, investigators weren't able to find any record. As for the Moravian airport, no aircraft entered the airspace during that time. Okay. Here we have a story of an alien cult that says man was created by E.T. in a lab. The name of the event is Aliens Created Us in Laboratories. Sounded like a joke this week when it was posted on Facebook and spotted circulating around Moscow on flyers, but it came a day too late for April Fools. The event was real. I mean, just gotta stop right here, but to hear in 2016 aliens creating us a lab and think it's a joke? Really? Really? In 2016, we haven't heard this story enough time. People aren't that brain dead out there. The event was real. It was held Saturday, downtown Moscow, inside a hotel across the street from the Russia's foreign ministry. Swiss and Russian members of the group called the Raelian Movement earnestly explained their beliefs. Geneticists from the extraterrestrial race known as the Elohim created all life on Earth and wish to return home by 2035, bringing them with technologies 25,000 years more advanced than our own, including robots that will make it so humans no longer have to work. There will be a new era of peace and ease. and all mankind needs to do is build an extraterrestrial embassy to properly welcome our benevolent alien creators. French automotive journalist Claude Aurel founded the movement in 1974, and the Iranians have been trying to build their embassy ever since. Now they have their sights set on the location for it. Russia, it turns out that Rael is a fan of President Vladimir Putin. All right, I'm going to leave that there. I don't understand. I still don't understand why people would be surprised by this. It's not like we haven't heard this for as long as we have. And one last piece here. 77-year-old man built a giant face in his yard to signal aliens in California. Okay, here's it, flying over the head. Says Romeland, California. A large alien face made an appearance in a Romeland backyard. Larry Decker, 77, created the massive rock formation with the help of his grandson, Josh, and his daughter, Deb. The family began working on the rock landscaping Monday, he said, and they completed it Thursday afternoon. Decker said when he lived on a farm in southern Ohio, he was walking to a neighbor's house to get milk when he somehow wandered off the path and eventually discovered a crop circle on a wheat field. When he was 10 years old at the time, and since then Deckard has been fascinated by aliens, which is one of the reasons he created the otherworldly piece. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. There you have it, my friends. That's our UFO news for today. I'll be right back, and we'll continue on. Stay tuned.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of them.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing, but they're illusion from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Moving on. So I played that song Wake Up because, folks, we need to wake up in this country. I'm going to do a little bit of a ranting for a few minutes, something that's bugging me at the moment before I continue on. But yesterday, as you know, was the primary race in Wisconsin. And again, coming out of Wisconsin, we have some results that are kind of hard to believe. I've showed you the videos of the Trump rallies, and this was just one particular day or two. He's getting thousands and thousands and thousands of people at his rallies, having to turn thousands away. By comparison, Cruz was getting a fraction of the people there. And yet we see in the results that he had more than 50% of the state. Really, something very bizarre in all of that. Something very bizarre. And on the same day, he says that we have these very cryptic, not even so much cryptic, but very direct statements from the GOP, which indicates, cheating is something that they're going to be doing. And I think it's just despicable. And if you go ahead, you may say, oh, this is just sour grapes because I like Trump. I do like Trump. I think that we are going to be in a big world of hurt if we don't put somebody in that is not establishment. But they're trying to step on the people as much as possible. What I don't understand is why this guy, Reince Priebus, has so much power. Okay, he's not president. We're not selecting him for president. He's just some guy who is wielding way too much power and shouldn't have that ability. It says breaking: GOP Chairman Reince Priebus tells the voters if you don't like who the party nominates, even if they are not the one who got the most votes and delegates, you can sit down because the party is choosing the nominee. So apparently primaries mean nothing to the GOP Chairman Priebus. He's also essentially telling the American people, even if you overwhelmingly vote for a particular candidate and they get the most votes and delegates, they can pick someone else in spite of what the voters want. Again, if you don't like it, American voters can sit down. Is the GOP Chairman Priebus and the RNC corrupt and despicable? Take the poll below. Well, there's a poll right here. You could take this poll. I'm going to say yes, because I do think they are corrupt and despicable. Okay, so I'll fill the rest of that out. It's sad, my friends, that this stuff keeps happening. So what are we to do? What are we to do when there's... And before I go on, go to Google and just put in Wisconsin voter fraud. You'll see lots of stuff come up, lots of evidences. The Trump camp, they had put a Stop Voter Fraud website up, and they've been getting reports from every single state. There's massive amounts of voter fraud and cheating going on. What's wrong with people? Why? I don't get it. People are that hateful of America that they will vote to have somebody who, for only 16 months, has been an American citizen. So it just proves that Americans are willing to accept anybody in the office. Precedents already has been set by the jackass in office now who's not even an American citizen. People wonder, why is he for the gays? Because he's gay. Why is he for the Muslims? Because he's Muslim. Why is he tearing apart the country? Because that's what his job is to do. Now you got Ted Cruz on this side of the fence. You got his wife is involved with the Council on Foreign Relations, who helped to write the Trans-Pacific Partnership, screwing over Americans, and yet Americans, good Americans, still be out and they'll vote for this idiot. On the other side, we've got the race going on with the socialist, and he's running the race against the criminal. And America's really got some interesting choices. So I'm going to leave this topic here because I don't know how this whole thing is going to turn out. I just know that there's a whole bunch of despicable, corrupt activity taking place out there, and I think that this is supposed to be about the people, but it's very evident that this has nothing to do with the people. And I hope Americans are waking up to realize this, because Americans have thought for a long time their votes count. Well, you should be hearing very clearly now the message from the RNC that your vote doesn't matter. Reince Priebus doesn't care about your vote. You know what I hope? I hope one day these Muslim immigrants that want to hurt people show up at his door and Megyn Kelly's door and the front door of all of the media that's been lying about him. I hope all of the bad things they've been lying about show up at their front doors first before they show up at other Americans' places. And I hope that they realize that they are going to be in trouble because they've lied to the American people. See, the American people shouldn't get in trouble for the stupid decisions that these people, these corrupt individuals behind the scenes do. They should be the ones who have to suffer for those consequences. I'm all for taking all of these candidates. I'm all for taking all of the corrupt people, putting them in a big arena and letting them fight it out to the death. I'd have no problem with that. No problem whatsoever. Let them fight it out to the death. Last man standing. Because the ones who are going to cheat and everything, they ain't going to be able to cheat in a system like that. They're going to have to man up, and we don't have a lot of that going on in our system. We have a lot of wimps. So, yes, I'm a little bit unhappy about the results yesterday, primarily because of the stories of voter fraud and corruption that continue to come in surrounding this process. When are Americans going to wake up? What's going to happen? What are we supposed to do? Grab our pitchforks and go to the street? Where are we supposed to go? Do we go to visit Reince Priebus? He doesn't care. This guy's just a little weasel. He doesn't care about anything. You listen to him talk. He doesn't care. I wouldn't trust that guy as far as I could throw him. And yet we have these people running things, and on the other side you've got corruption. The whole system's corrupt. It's just a corrupt system. And, I don't think people give Donald enough credit for what he's doing. I highly agree with him. This man is running a campaign without all of the donors, and yet that's just sort of brushed aside, as if we're supposed to accept the fact that all of these donors give to these candidates and dictate what's going on. Mainstream media is not going to really push that a lot because, oh no, it's against their narrative to do that. Megan needs to keep lying to you. So she's going to lie to you because, well, apparently that's what Megan does. Just like Wolf does lying and Anderson, and they all are liars. They're not your friends. They're not your friends. And if you think they are, guess what? See if you can go have a meeting with them. See if you can go hang out with them. Be buddy-buddy. Find out how much of a friend they really aren't to you. These aren't nice people. They're not nice people. And don't worry. Things are going to continue to evolve. I don't believe that Trump's going to let this just slide. I don't believe that he is throwing in the towel on anything. He's just understanding each and every time the depth of the corruption. And I hope Americans are paying attention to the depth of the corruption, because that's the big problem there. You see, you have kids. If you have kids, your kids are going to have to live in this world that these corrupt politicians are doing. So when people say, well, it doesn't really matter to me, what can I do about it? Why should I care? You should care because you have people that are going to come after you and your family that are going to have to live according to this nonsense, and maybe do something so they don't have to deal with that. Maybe if the generations that are older take care of the younger generations by doing the right thing, maybe things would be better. But we don't. We have one generation after the next is worse than the next. We had the baby boomers, and they had the Gen X after that. There was all kind of problems with theirs, and now we got the millennials. I mean, I feel bad for the next group because these millennials are just clueless in so many ways. We're really going to have a really downgrading of life as they continue to grow older, because what are all of these millennials going to teach their children? They don't have the same values as their ancestors, as the baby boomers, so the values are going to get less and less and less. You know what I keep seeing? I keep seeing us moving closer and closer to idiocracy. Next thing you know, we are going to be pouring energy drinks on our grass because it's got electrolytes. Yeah. Silly, silly, silly. Okay, so we can get caught up in this. I can get caught up into this, but what's the point? Don't feel like getting caught up. I got all caught up in the 2012 process. Went out, shot a documentary with some friends, cut the documentary together, found out that we ran into a whole load of flack because the truth of what we discovered really wasn't wanting to be known. And people we sent it to, they weren't too happy with the results showing the corruption that was taking place in the process. See, Americans are just supposed to think that it's all rosy and fresh and no problems whatsoever. And that's not the case at all. So we have this reality, this physical reality, but we have these other realities outside of the physical reality. And we're told that we can adjust our physical reality because it's fluid. It's not a solid thing. So if that's the case, then why are we stuck in this loop of continuing to create the same things over and over? Well, I think it's because of the programming. Spend time this afternoon. Flip on the mainstream channels. I know you may not do it. Some people don't even turn it on at all, but turn it on. 15 minutes. Give yourself 15 minutes and just listen to the stories. What you'll hear is this constant repeating over and over and over and over of the same information to hammer it home. That's why we're in a loop, because we have the same information repeated, so it gets up in a person's head and it just plays over and over and over. Because we are just a giant computer. We're connected to this giant mind. And when our mind takes this bit of information and gets it stuck up there, it gets in a loop. And when we hear the same thing over and over, the lies, in order to get to the truth, we have to unravel all the lies first. So we need to go to the unconscious. We need to work things out. And one of the places we work things out are in our dreams. But we don't always remember our dreams. A lot of times all we know is we went to sleep and then we woke up. And something happened in between. And if we're lucky, we remember our dreams. But sometimes dreams can be so fantastic or intense that people don't want to remember their dreams. So they find a variety of ways to not remember dreams. Well, I think there's something important to the dreams, which is why I wanted to bring this topic up today, so we could take a look at it. And I've got a couple articles on the topic of lucid dreaming, so we could explore our dream world a little bit more. It says lucid dreaming is awareness that you are dreaming. The awareness can range from a faint recognition to the fact that a momentous broadening of perspective. Lucid dreams usually occur while a person is in the middle of a normal dream and suddenly realizes that they are dreaming. This is called a dream-initiated lucid dream. A wave-initiated lucid dream occurs when you go from a normal walking state into a dream state with no apparent lapse in consciousness. In either case, the dreams tend to be more bizarre and emotional than regular dreams. Most importantly, you will have at least some ability to control your dream self and the surrounding dream. So here's a number of techniques to help get us into this state. 1. Keep a dream journal. Keep it close by your bed at night. Write down your dreams immediately after waking, or the emotions and the sensations you experience right when you wake up. This will train you to remember more of your dreams, which is important for lucid dreaming. Plus, there's not much point in controlling your dreams if you forget the experience before the morning. Okay. 2. Use reality checks frequently. Every few hours during the day, ask yourself, am I dreaming? And perform one of the following reality checks. With enough practice, you'll start following the habit to your dreams as well, cluing in you in the fact that you're dreaming. So here's some examples. Read a page of text or the time of a clock, look away, then look back again. In dreams, the text and the time will be blurred or nonsensical, and you will be different each time you look. Pinch your nose, close your mouth, and test whether you can still breathe. Simply look at your hands and feet. These are often distorted in dreams when you inspect them closely. Okay? So the whole point here is we're wanting to understand, am I awake, am I dreaming? And so you go through the day, you ask yourself that question, am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? So that one time when you ask that question while in a dream state, everything changes. That's what you're looking for, to be in the dream state and then recognize that you're dreaming. 3. Repeat, I will be aware that I am dreaming each time I fall asleep. Each night as you fall asleep, repeat to yourself, I will know I am dreaming, or a similar phrase until you drift out of consciousness. The technique is known as mnemonic induction to lucid dreaming, or MILD. Mnemonic induction means just using memory aids, or in this case, using a rote phrase to turn the awareness of your dreaming into an automatic habit. Some people like to combine this step with the reality check by staring at their hands or a few minutes before they go to sleep. 4. Learn to recognize your personal dream signs. Read through your journal and look for recurring dream signs. These are recurring situations or events that you may notice in your dreams. Becoming familiar with these, you may recognize them while you are dreaming, and therefore notice you'll be dreaming. You probably know some of these already. Common dreams include losing your teeth, being chased by someone large, and going into public areas without clothes on. 5. Drift back to sleep when awakened from a dream. When you wake up and you remember your dream, write it down in your dream journal and close your eyes and focus on the dream. Imagine that you were in that dream, noticed a dream sign or a reality check, realize it was a dream. Hold on to this thought as you drift back to sleep, and you may enter a lucid dream. Note that the most lucid dreams occur when a person is fully asleep, usually because he notices a bizarre event and realizes he's in a dream. This is just an alternate trigger that starts off about 25% of lucid dreams. And 6, consider purchasing a light alarm. Go online, purchase a light-based instead of a sound-based alarm, or even a specializing dream light designed to induce lucid dreaming. Set it for 4, 5, 6, and 7 hours after you fall asleep, or set it to go off every hour if possible. While sound, touch, or other stimuli during rapid eye movement, sleep can also make a dreamer aware of the fact that he's dreaming. One study shows that light clues are most effective. You don't want to actually wake yourself up unless you're trying to wake back to bed. Method below. Keep the light alarm more than arm's reach away from your bed and cover it with a sheet to dim the light. Okay, here we have another one using the wake back up method bed. This is a second method. Know when lucid dreams occur most. Lucid dreams and vivid dreams in general almost always occur during REM sleep, the deep sleep phase characterized by rapid eye movement. The first REM phase typically occurs 90 minutes after you first fall asleep, with additional phases roughly every 90 minutes afterwards. The goal of this method is to wake up during the REM phase, fall back asleep, and continue the dream, aware that you are dreaming. You won't be able to time your phrases exactly unless you visit a sleep lab or have a very dedicated night owl watching your eyelids all night. More realistically, just keep repeating the method below until you catch yourself in the REM phase. Another one, encourage your body to get more REM sleep. There are many ways to increase the amount of REM sleep as described in the linked article. One of the most effective, the one that causes REM sleeps to appear at regular times, is to stick to a daily sleep schedule and to sleep long enough that you wake up well rested. This can be difficult to balance up with the step below, which interrupts your sleep in the middle of the night. If you have trouble falling back asleep, it's a different method instead, or limit your attempts to once or twice a week. Wake up in the middle of the night, set one alarm, go off at 4, 5, 6 hours after you sleep. This is more likely to be in the REM phase during these times. Although it's difficult to predict in advance, the 6 or 7 hours are the most likely to work because the REM phases last longer. We are more likely to contain vivid or lucid dreams. Stay awake for a while, write down your dream. If you're having one, make yourself a snack or just get up and walk around for a while. Your goal is to get conscious mind active and alert while your body is still full of sleep hormones. One study shows that staying awake somewhere between 30 and 60 minutes gives the highest chance of a lucid dream. Concentrate on the dream again, fall asleep, close your eyes, fall asleep again. If you remember the dream you are having, recall it, fall back asleep imagining yourself continuing the dream. Even if it takes quite a while to happen, you've got a decent chance of a lucid dream. And then we have other concentration techniques. If your mind wanders while you're trying to catch the dream, or if you don't remember the dream at all, instead try focusing on the movement of your fingers. Use a pattern of small movements such as the index finger up, middle finger down, so on and so on. Okay, and then there's a third set of techniques here. One is to meditate. I'm just going to read through these here. Before you go to bed, prolong a lucid dream if it starts to fade. Suspend your body, dream around, or fall backwards. This helps if the dream is there. So you want to try to keep yourself in the dream. Listen to binaural beats. It's another way you could do it. Listen to different sounds. There's plenty of them on YouTube. Play video games. Gamers report a much higher rate of lucid dreaming than general population. Considering taking galantamine, is a drug synthesized from the snowdrop plant and may be most effective in induced lucid dreaming. Consider the occasional B supplement. These increase dream vividness, weirdness, and emotional intensity, which can lead to lucid dreaming. Okay, so the whole idea is this. We live in this one particular reality where we are right now. We're moving through this reality, but at a certain period of time, we close our eyes, we go to sleep, and in that sleep state, we enter another reality. Oftentimes, we don't remember it. All we know is we went to bed, and then we wake up, and we feel whatever happened during the night. Sometimes we remember, sometimes we don't. The whole idea is try to remember what's going on during that phase, because there's a lot that is going on behind the scenes in the subconscious. And so we use these various states and these various techniques to help us. The idea is this. Right now, how do we know that we're awake? How do we know that we're not asleep? Well, we ask ourselves this question, am I dreaming? If I can determine that I am not dreaming right now, and I continue to ask this question and make it a habit, am I dreaming? eventually I will be in a dream and I'll ask the same question and I'll have a different result because I'll realize as looking around that yes, I am dreaming. You look at text and then you look away and you look back. The text may have changed. You look at a clock and then you look away and then you look back. The clock may have changed. So you look for different clues in order to determine whether you are awake or in a dream. And that's what we're attempting to do. We want to understand the difference between the dream world and this world. And once we understand that dream reality and we become awake in our dreams, we now start observing things and experiencing things differently in this dream reality that we didn't normally experience. And then we can start to find out more about who we are. And all the characters in the dream, they're us. They're aspects of ourselves that are playing themselves out for us to understand. But when we have a dream and we don't fully understand all the characters represent us, we may get confused or not understand the situation being told or what we're learning. So there's really great information that can be learned in our dreams. And if we can become lucid, that's really a great thing. And then one of the other tricks it talks about is when we're in the dream state, sometimes we want to be able to stay there. We don't want to get pulled out of it. So there's techniques that are used to keep in that state. So let's say you're in the lucid dreaming state. You've realized you're lucid dreaming because you've asked yourself, am I dreaming? And you've looked around, you realize you are. And suddenly there you are in your dream and you're awake. At a certain point in time, you may feel as if you're starting to fade out of that. What you do is you just look around in the dream and just touch something in the dream world. Touch the grass. Touch something that brings you back to the reality of where you are in that moment. And as you do that, you'll start to ground yourself back in that moment and that experience. And then, of course, with all these, keep a journal. Keep a journal handy because that will help you to remember your dreams. Because think of how many times you've had dreams and then you wake up and you don't remember your dreams. Happens all the time, right? Well, it'd be nice to remember those things. And so that's what a journal's for, to help us to remember exactly that. Now, I have a couple other articles here all about lucid dreaming, basically the same things, just more articles on the same topics. This one here is called 9 Strange Ways to Induce Lucid Dreams to Curl Your Toes. It says when learning how to induce lucid dreams, there's lots of methods, but I'm going to give you the 9 best. Okay, the reality checks we've talked about. Using affirmations as you're falling asleep, using the binaural beats is another way. The science of siestas, take short little naps here and there. There's different devices you can find out in the marketplace if you need to use them, various supplements that are out there. Okay, and then of course meditation always helps to link us in, use some hypnosis and so on. So various tricks that can be used, and here's one other. This is lucid dreaming induction techniques. And you can see that there's a nice little set of information here. Okay, so it's not brain surgery. It's not brain surgery, but it is brain related. It's not something real difficult. We just have to ask ourselves. Like right now, ask yourself, am I dreaming? And look around the room. Take a look around. Look around at things that are written down. Look at clocks. And then look away. And then look back. Now look at the same thing you were looking at. Does it look the same? Has it changed? Then most likely you're awake. And if you're awake, now you know. So you keep asking the same question throughout the day. Just keep asking it. Because in the dreams, we have a habit of doing things that we do in normal waking life. So just keep asking yourself. Till one moment, you'll be in a dream, and you'll ask yourself, while in that dream state, the same question. Am I dreaming? And because you have the habit now of asking and looking around, getting confirmation, at one point you're going to be in the dream, and you're going to ask, and you're going to look around for confirmation, and you're going to realize that you are dreaming. That's what you're looking for. That's the first step. Ask yourself if you're dreaming, and then confirm whether or not you are, simply by looking at the surroundings in your reality. All right, moving on. A couple articles here I thought you'd find interesting. Matter and consciousness, how our thoughts create our reality. This certainly connects in. Ana Mind. Dr. Joe Dispenza claims that every time we learn something new, hundreds of thousands of our neurons change, which affects the state of our physical body. Dr. Dispenza is known worldwide for his original theory on the connection between mind and matter. The scientist gained his greatest fame after the release of his acclaimed documentary, We Know What Makes Signals. In 2004, his research helped disclose the extraordinary possibilities of consciousness and its ability to create synaptic connection with a strong concentration. Just imagine with each new sensation, vision, or emotional experiences, a new connection between two or more of the 100 million brain cells inevitably formed. But to really make changes, one needs to concentrate on the reinforcement of the conditioned reflex. If within a short period of time such an experience takes place, the connection will be strengthened. If the experiment is not repeated over time, the relationship will become weaker and disappear at all. Science depends on the brain, regards the brain as something static and fixed, but it is in fact a strong ability to change. Recent studies in neuroscience have shown that the effect could reach each body experience in our thinking organ. Okay, so here's an article or video that goes along with this. This is not the person in the article, Dispenza, but this is Louise Hay. And she has a book out there. She talks all about how our thoughts deal with our body, and how when we have an ailment in the body, we can relate it back to something going on in our life, a thought that needs to be corrected, and by simply correcting these thoughts, we can correct the problem within our body. So very interesting. Check out that video. I think you'll find it to your liking. Here's another one in the same vein. It says, be like water, the need for adaptive fluidity. Water can be compressed or repressed. It changes states. It has incredible kinetic energy. As proliferation of staged events and the accompanying fear ensue, it's always good to take stock of a situation unfolding and assess how to best handle what's transpiring. With the playing field changing at such a rapid rate, locally as well as globally, it's wise to see how perhaps adjust our sights as well as personal attitudes and outlooks, all the while staying completely clear of any reaction with the faintest smell of fear. Any wise strategist knows that you don't fight today's battles or by yesterday's instructions. Surely, in big ideas, there will be overreaching plans that need to be adjusted accordingly, but the day-to-day, minute-by-minute decisions requiring thinking on your feet and being prepared, vigilant, most of all, agile and adaptive are all ever-present challenges. Not just be, but the potentially confusing days come. The nature of water makes the most amazing metaphor for spiritual preparedness and how to adjust and adapt to our environment. Water cannot be compressed or repressed. It changes states, and yes, it can be temporarily contained. It has incredible kinetic energy despite its confinement and seeming resting state. Its energy withheld from potential activation in another form, awaiting movement, but even then it can evaporate into another state and transfer on a whim. Incredible liquid is the building block of nature. It's now known even stars produce water, and other heavenly bodies are rich with it. It floats about in our cosmos like life itself, all completely contrary to the dead, sterile vacuum model of space we were entrained with. It moves, it adapts, it morphs, much like the gift of the human spirit. Only wrong teaching can convince us otherwise. Experience bears this out, as does our intuition. Okay, a lot more to the article. Here, this is Bruce Lee was big on this, and rightly so. You may remember him as a martial artist, but is extremely spiritual. He died young with his empowering message. Principles are principles and hold their own. The wise teachings that have withstood the test of time and worked their way around the rocks and protuberances of social engineering still speak loud and clear to the hearts of humanity. Much like water, foundational truths cannot be quenched. They may be waylaid for short periods of time, even sequestered by powers that shouldn't be, but they always escape the clutches of the controlled grip and reach deep into the heart of mankind. Lee famously touted the liquid metaphor as we have many sages. It's ours to learn these techniques and, if you will, spiritual technologies to stay free and happily afoot and objective. It's not easy, but it's worth learning. Flow. And flow we will. Be like water. Okay. And so this phrase where he says, be like water, he goes, water is like a cup. Put it into the cup, it shapes like the cup. And, I forget the whole quote, but this interview here, the lost interview, is where you can find that exact quote by Bruce Lee talking about water. Awesome interview. Bruce Lee was an amazing person who understood the connection to spirit, understood how that expression was expressing itself out into his reality. And this is a great interview. So I'm not going to play this, but I did want the link to be available because it ties directly in with what was just being discussed. All right, that brings us to our channeled message today, and it comes from Archangel Gabriel.
Angel Gabriel Daily Message / Tuesday, April 5th, 2016 by Shelley Young. The flow is an incredibly intelligent and efficient system, designed to give you exactly what you need at any given time. To be resistant is to deny yourself the support and movement to get to your next grand expression of self. Surrender is the entry point of the flow. The flow is where the movement is. You stay in the flow by following your heart, by doing what honors you, by following the path of least resistance and joy. You steer your flow through gratitude and allow it to lead you by following the signs and synchronicities. You use faith and trust to stay consistently in the flow long enough for the magic to happen. If you have surrendered but are not experiencing movement, one of two things are possible. One is that you are in an energetic lull, where things are coming together behind the scenes. The other is that you are in resistance, by continuing to refuse to give up something that you know is not for your highest good, or continuing to engage in what is unwanted. Discomfort is always, an indicator of resistance. If you are sitting there waiting to be saved, you are seeing yourself as a victim. Surrender and flow are a co-creational process. They are not about giving your power away, but rather about moving forward in your authentic power, making choices that honor you, one now moment at a time. There are essential elements to getting results from using surrender and flow. They are surrender, faith, flow, trust, acceptance and allowing, and gratitude. If you are not getting desired movement in your life, examine whether your practice of any of those key elements is lacking. Dear ones, do not worry about entering the flow in the wrong direction. It is quite impossible to do so. The flow will immediately sweep you up from wherever you are. You, with your faith and trust, must allow yourself to be moved. That means that you willingly move with it, even if it initially looks different than you thought it would, because the flow will brilliantly bring you the exact stepping stones you need to get to your dreams. Let your highest self lead the way, and trust that the universe always has a plan that is often far greater than you could ever imagine for yourself. We understand this is an entirely new system for human beings to use versus the no pain, no gain efforting and sacrificing for success model most of you have been raised in. Be kind and gentle with yourselves as you start to explore and play with this new operating system the higher energies are supporting. Have fun, experiment, intend, create, move, and know that we are cheering you on and assisting you every step of the way. Archangel Gabriel.
All right, good message. And see how it ties right into all the others talking about flow? Everything just always interesting how everything ties together. I don't plan it that way. It just works itself out. All right, brings us to our meditation for today. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath and exhale. Take another deep breath and exhale again. And another breath and exhale. Now feel the spirit that flows through your being. And as you feel this spirit, feel the fluidness of this spirit, how it moves through your being, ever changing. And think about this state of fluidity and how it gives us an example in life for us to be fluid in the same way that the spirit is fluid within us. So we move through the life, walking the path of life, and we imagine ourselves with situations in our life, and imagine ourselves just being fluid, easily moving around that situation. And so just imagine ourselves as being like water, moving and reforming around whatever challenge or obstacle comes our way. So we realize that there is no obstacle, there is no challenge. Think about the ocean for a moment. And you have somebody who's on the shore and they decide they're going to try to block the ocean, so they build themselves a little wall, a little dam. And then we see the water rush in, and it sees the approaching blockage. And as it gets up to it, it simply moves around, it washes over until pretty soon the wall is gone. The dam is gone. And there was no problem, there was no worry or concern from the ocean. It simply moved, adjusted, and kept moving. And distraction was not even able to slow it down, simply because the process of flowing is that of constant change and adapting. So with that in mind, we know that success is always imminent, because we ourselves are flowing towards that which is the success we wish to attain. And though we may not understand the ways of this physical reality, though we may get caught up in the lies and deceptions and the corruptions of the humans on this earthly plane, we understand the deeper aspect of spirit that flows through us, that challenges us to remain strong and faithful, that reminds us that the power to flow around all obstacles exists within us in each and every moment, and that when we place our emotions aside, we find the ways to do things without any further challenges. So as we go into the world today, let's just be like water, my friends. Let's just be like water and flow around whatever challenges come our way. And let's just observe this experience and see what happens. So let the subconscious mind continue on the journey, flowing forth. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's the show for today. Thank you very much for being here. Just remember the aspect of flowing. Okay? Everything's energy. Energy flows and moves. We can move with it or we can get knocked down by it. Choice is ours. But the available techniques are also available. We've talked about them quite often. You're familiar with them. All we have to do is apply them. And when we do, we'll get to experience all of the benefits that come with the things that we know that we should be doing to make our world the world we want it to be. So that's it. I'll be back tomorrow. Have an awesome day. I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.